Is it easy to be entertaining?
I think to a certain level, you can't please everybody. I mean, even if it's with artistic, I guess so-called art films, you make it. There's still a lot of people like, what the heck was that? They don't like it. You make entertaining movies. There's some who like, some who don't. It's always going to be the case.
Two choices. One is to be really with the professionals, do a movie that could be commercially somewhat successful. The other is really do a movie you're extremely satisfied with and you think it's going to be there for some years.
I've been fortunate enough to have already done that. With Waiting Alone to this day, it's been 12 years since that movie came out. It's listed always on the top, the top 10, top 5 lists of best romantic comedies. I don't think I'm done with it, but I think I've already done that, so I'm not going to try to duplicate that again.
But doing entertaining movies, very competitive.
Me, yes, of course. But for me, Waiting Alone was an entertaining movie. I think the thing is, it came at a time when no one else was doing that, which is why it stood out. Everybody was like, oh my God, they didn't know movies can be made that way.
But this time is different because your movie now is trying to be entertaining, so-called humorous. There's an enormous amount of competition in the market.
Yeah, exactly.
There were earlier successful examples as well.
Exactly. But I think what we're doing differently in this is still it's a very different film. Yes, sure, we want box office. We want, I want to be, making the investors money and whatnot. And this time, actually, it's been the most of any movies I've ever done. But it doesn't mean that I'm, I guess, to take some people's quote, I'm not selling out per se, because if I was going to do that, I would just go find the hottest star, I'd go find some book that everybody's read, and I just do that, as they call churned, which means you're just getting the money and using the easiest way to go make it. That, which a lot of other movies are being done that way in the market here, is the fastest way, but I'm not doing that. I could have done it that way, but I still think we need to be doing original movies.
What is movie like for you? Is it a tool, or is it a product, or is it something that you can correlate with just to understand better about what is going on around you?
For me, it is a combination. It's a commercial film, yes. This movie's point is to entertain and make money. So entertain audiences, make the financiers money. That's the purpose of it. And for me, I've thrown a little bit of what I'm trying to express into it. So I'm able to have a little bit of artistic expression. It's also a product, and yet hopefully audiences can see it and be entertained.
You are a very special reference for all of us, if I could use that as a sample, to understand about the Chinese movie industry and also about the growing Chinese population when it comes to youth, because you came to China's mainland in your early 20s.
Yeah.
You attended one of those film academies well known in this country, directly from the United States.
Yeah.
The China then, you have noticed, of course, very different from China now. I just wonder, in retrospect, how do you as a filmmaker grow together with the dramatic changes of real China?
I think it's definitely changed a lot, and in some ways, I think as we always get older, you always miss things in the past. I always like to reminisce a bit, yeah. But for me, and that's also why, even with this film, we were stressing, and I've been stressing, that I'm not, look, I also like to be nostalgic a little bit, and we have some nostalgia in this film, but in some ways I'm not using that as a selling point, because for me it's about moving on. You gotta always move on, and that's how you can continue. And that's why for the reviews or the critics that did like the movie, they felt that they were surprised that I was able to still get what people 12 years later thought's funny, or what audiences can relate to. And that to me is a very encouraging acknowledgement, because I think the point is to be able to move on. If you're always looking in the past, you're going to be stuck in the past.
Do you like yourself better as a movie maker or less? Let's just say, compared to 15 years ago.
For me, it's always about sort of being able to get better. Now the movies I make now or in the future, maybe some people will say, yeah, I didn't like that, I liked the other one, but that's fine. Everyone has, there's always filmmakers that I also admire, and sometimes like, yeah, I like their earlier works, I don't like their later works. Sure. But it doesn't mean you discount the changes that have happened in their own, works. It just means, it's basically, I like to say, some people they're maybe expecting like a dumpling, but I just made them a hamburger. So how are you gonna, you can't compare it. For me, sometimes, and especially in this industry here in China, it's still in its growing process. It's not like in Hollywood where as soon as you see this kind of a poster or this kind of a movie, you know what you're gonna exactly get. Whereas here, it's not there yet.
To you, a filmmaker, what does it mean, the competition in the market?
It's very tough, I think, especially now, because 2 years ago there was a lot of, it was very strange, it was a little off actually. Now everyone sees from this point on, they can tell. A couple of years ago when all kinds of movies are making like 2 billion, 3 billion at the box, which was not normal, because what was happening was a lot of tickets were being subsidized, they were being bought by financiers, they were being subsidized by ticketing companies. That all stopped, and as soon as it stopped, as we can see this year, suddenly everything, the grosses go down. It's not that...
But we don't need fake numbers.
Exactly, that's the difference. So, but at the same time, some people will compare, like, wait a second, how come that movie made like 300 million, and how come yours is... As far as the amount of people seeing it, it's actually about the same.
What is the nature of this competition?
It's just, well, because there's a lot of people making movies, and now because the market's gotten better here, a lot of people think that, oh, hey, I'll make, and make some people money, but the majority of movies lose money. That's just a fact.
It is. So. There are complaints, both, I guess, from the audience and also from even the film authorities about the qualities of movies, Chinese movies these days. I mean, generally speaking. Yeah. How would you respond to those comments?
No, I agree. There are a lot of movies that need to be doing better. Local films. I think the main problem is they're not paying attention to the detail or the quality.
Why people rush to do movies?
Because
it's just easy to cash in?
I think they want to, it's just for cashing in, So it's like, all right, quick, let's do it now. Or, oh, this book is really popular now. Quickly, let's get into production. Because you don't want to take too long.
Do you think that's going to change?
I think slowly it will have to change,
slowly,
because audiences
give me a timeline if you think about it.
Well, I think it's already starting to show, because 2 years ago you had these big movies where you see the poster and it's like the biggest stars of China all on it, the poster. They're barely in it. People see it. It's like the worst visual effects ever, and it's a terrible story, and it was done really bad, and everybody hated it. And then those movies in the past, maybe audiences would go and see, but now they're feeling like, wait a sec, are you going to trick me again? They don't trust it, and when they don't trust it, the local film industry suffers, because when they're thinking, wait, I'm going to pay this same amount for a ticket, and then there's Spider-Man, which I know is going to be pretty good probably, so I'm going to go watch that. That's what I do, and audiences are also doing that. So it needs to, as a whole, the Chinese film industry, as long as we're doing our best to make quality films, I think that's the only way you can bring up the audience's expectation, and for them to sort of understand that, hey, not all movies are garbage. Right. Okay, but again, like everywhere in the world, you have that problem. In Hollywood, everyone's complaining about the same thing. Why is everything a sequel, remake, superhero? Yeah, that's also the problem.
We're frustrated as audience as well.
Exactly, as audiences are tired of seeing the same old things, and so this
is... It's a different layer of qualities that we're talking about.
Exactly. See, over there, it's not a problem of, oh, why does it look so bad, or why is the cinematography, it's not that problem, it's other issues. But here, yes, sometimes it's the general sort of, why is this guy in the movie? It's like, he can't act, but he's so popular, but they use him anyway. This kind of that's for the fast bucks, because those movies don't last.
What is the relationship between China and Hollywood now, do you think?
Look, in Hollywood, they all know there's a lot of money in China, so they want to sort of court that money for their own productions. We see it in a lot of, big budget Hollywood films, where these Chinese companies keep popping up on the logos. But
and one or two Chinese stars popping up for 5 seconds, speaking hello, and then it disappears.
Exactly, which annoys everybody there and here. So I don't know why that keeps happening. But I think the situation is if you're going to be wanting just the money, then you're going to have to also take the risks that go with it. You know.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you just want to take the money, and there are companies who are maybe not from the film industry, but they have a lot of money, some coal mining company decides they want to do movies, they're going to have some unprofessional sort of situations occur, which
it comes in a package.
It comes with the package. You can't want both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's not going to happen, you know. So, you know, and sometimes also in Hollywood, they only sort of recognize the same 5 people that they've heard of, and then they just want to keep getting those guys to do things, and maybe they don't want to do that kind of a thing. So there really is, you know, have to consider the whole package.
Right.
And I've actually, you know, being here over 20 years, and I even, you know, on the previous film, also had that sort of a situation where it's kind of like, okay, these guys are saying they have the money, they've never done movie financing before. Okay, we'll take a chance, and that chance was not very good.
Money is not everything to you.
No, it's not. It never has been. It really, for me, as long as I have a comfortable, you know, I think I'm okay, but it's not my end goal. My end goal isn't to go and make as much money as possible. You know, like if you're a businessman, maybe that's your end goal. For me, it's not.
What is your end goal?
My end goal is to try and make good movies that people like. It's as simple as that. Sounds very naive and strange, but that's it.
What made you happy at the very beginning of your movie career? What made you happy now? You know, 20 years after that. You asked that fundamental question in your movie, which is a beautiful question, and yet very hard to answer.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, starting out, I was very fortunate to have, you know, I mean, right out of film school, I did Bus 44, and, you know, I won in Venice and Cannes and Sundance and all these big festivals that everybody aspires to go to.
So fame will make you happy?
No, not fame, but the recognition from the industry that, hey, this guy made a good movie. So that was what started my career. Without that, it would have been a longer journey to get to where I am. And then right after that,
recognition made you happy at the very beginning.
I think recognition of, yes, by peers, by people that I respected, by the film industry, people that allowed me to be able to go and make my first feature film. And so when Waiting Alone came, I was able to get, you know, movie stars in it. We made that movie, and reaction to it was good. It was, for me now, though, things have also changed because also I have a kid now. He's 5, you know. So to me, you know, that's what keeps me grounded. That's what makes me happy, is to see him and his growing and his wonderment of everything in the world.
Yes.
That to me, during my darkest times professionally, I'm still happy because I got him.
Well, you talk a lot about the wish. In your movie, and you love that because you would help others who watch the movie be entertained while at the same time thinking just a little bit, even just a little bit, would be already wonderful.
Yeah.
What about that for you? Do you dare to think what you wish?
My own? Yeah, well, I think we always have wishes, you know. We have wishes and hopes, you know, and we try to go after our wishes, you know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I think whatever tests that come in life, they're just a way to make you grow.
To grow, only naturally.
Yeah.
Terrific.
All right,
what a
thanks.
pleasure to have you.
Yeah, pleasure, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.